Interested in changes in the rules of the game.
80 years ago, George Soros was born. Little did the world know then, economies would collapse. Currencies would become worthless. Elections would be stolen. Regimes would fall. And one billionaire would find himself coincidentally at the center of it all. He was born in Budapest, Hungary on August 12, 1930, as George Schwartz, the son of Orthodox Jews. Today, Soros is an atheist who doesn't embrace his Jewish identity and rarely supports Jewish causes or Israel.
I've not been very engaged in Israel.
Why not?
I think there are enough Jews to take care of Israel.
In 1947, the Soros family relocated from Hungary to England, where George attended the Fabian Socialist London School of Economics. He moved to New York in 1956, became a U.S. citizen in 61, and at the age of 39, he started what would become the Quantum Fund, which he would use to attack currencies all across the globe. He later would be blamed for the financial collapses in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, and Russia. And who could forget that he was the man who broke the Bank of England in 1992, shorting the British sterling by betting heavily that the currency would collapse, despite government assurances to the contrary.
Today has been an extremely difficult and turbulent day. Massive speculative flows continue to disrupt the functioning exchange rate mechanism.
The money that I made on this particular transaction, the estimate is about $1 billion.
Along with currencies, Soros also collapses regimes. With his Open Society Fund, which was founded in 1979, Soros has helped fund the Velvet Revolution in the Czech Republic, the Orange Revolution in the Ukraine, the Rose Revolution in Georgia. He also helped engineer coups in Slovakia, Croatia, and Yugoslavia. So what is his target now? Us, America.
He said it himself on many occasions. He said, what I have done in other countries in terms of overturning bad governments, I'm going to do in this country.
Our country needs us. And we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts.
Political analysts say the shadow party he has built here greatly resembles those he created in other countries before instigating a coup.
He created his own party within a party, or his shadow party outside of the Democratic Party, the Center for American Progress. That was one of the original shadow party groups. This group, from the beginning, was charged with getting control of the conservative media. Many of the people in the Obama administration were just drawn right up from there.
He spent millions in 2004 to drive President Bush out of office. He didn't succeed. But changing the attitude and policies of America, he says, remains his top priority. In one of his books, Soros writes, quote, "The main obstacle to a stable and just world order is the United States," end quote. You wouldn't want a man like this anywhere near the President of the United States, would you? Soros has been granted at least 4 visits so far to the Obama White House. This, a man who has repeatedly called for the devaluation of the dollar.
A slow decline in the value of the dollar, a managed decline.
He's waged a war against capitalism.
Capitalism is not directly opposed to open society. Nevertheless, it poses some serious threats.
This is a man who wants the world to be one global society without borders or individual governments. One global society and one global gatekeeper.
What would possess a man to need as much power as George Soros does? Well, the title of a biography that he himself authorized refers to him as a messianic billionaire. Wow, that's quite a claim. But maybe you should look into the mind of the puppet master and see what's inside.
The United States should find its proper place in a new world order. They would have to give up some of their privileges.
He's been trying to reorder the world as if he is the creator. Soros has admitted in the past he doesn't believe in God. But that's perhaps because he thinks he is.
Soros himself admits that from the time he was very young, he had megalomaniacal ideas. He said he had messianic fantasies. He said he even thought of himself as a kind of god.
In Underwriting Democracy, he writes, quote, "If truth be known, I carried some rather potent messianic fantasies with me from childhood. In The Alchemy of Finance, quote, I fancied myself as some kind of god."
He's even said that now that I've made these things, these dreams into a reality, I feel more comfortable admitting to the magnitude of my ambitions.
In Soros on Soros, quote, "I probably couldn't feel all of a piece if I weren't larger than life." To The New Yorker, God in the Old Testament has a number of attributes. Invisible. I was pretty invisible. Benevolent. I was pretty benevolent. All-seeing. I tried to be all-seeing. End quote.
Soros goes further in that he has said that he wants to be the conscience of the world. He was quoted by his biographer, Kaufman.
Yes, I did say that, and actually I stand by it. I think the world very much needs a conscience. I want my foundation network to be the conscience of the world.
We're almost out of time, but there is so much more in the next two broadcasts. Make sure you DVR this program and share it with as many friends as you can. There is a personal story in this that we need to share with you. A little over a month ago, George Soros, his right-hand man, reached out to one of the vice presidents, one of the executives on this television program. He requested a meeting in public between the two of them. The executive accepted Mr. Soros' invitation. The meeting began with the Soros guy saying that this program, and me in particular, was corroding the very foundation of America and instigating violence to boot. And that was just while they were waiting to be seated at the restaurant. When that wild opening salvo failed to prompt anything more than a calm rebuttal from my executive, the Soros executive then shifted gears, explaining that we were hurting their business, even hurting Mr. Soros himself. Then he went on to talk about a vast right-wing conspiracy headed by this show or Fox News, targeting his boss because of his support for the Democratic candidates or maybe his position on legalizing drugs. I have no idea. But after my guy calmly rebutted the notion of any conspiracy, his guy, apparently out of bullets, said, "Then why? Why focus on George Soros if it's not that?" My executive explained to him that whenever you do a Google search on failing economies or collapsed currencies, the name George Soros keeps popping up, usually at number one. And because he steadfastly believes in one world government at the expense of the United States of America. I do not. The Soros guy dismissed his boss's role in collapsing the currencies, like the British sterling. He said it was overhyped, claiming they really didn't make that much off it, as people say. As far as one world government or globalization, well, he explained that ship, quoting, had already sailed. And he suggested that if Glenn Beck doesn't recognize that, he'll just be left behind. He then looked at my executive and said, "I don't think you hear me. I don't think you understand. Glenn Beck is hurting Mr. Soros and his business." At this point, the Soros executive abruptly ended the meeting, but not before saying that he had a gift from Mr. Soros for me, something he wanted my executive to give to me. He reached into his briefcase and handed him this. It's a movie, a DVD, a 1957 movie, made by a communist, by the way, how appropriate, called A Face in the Crowd, starring Andy Griffith. I watched this when MSNBC started this rumor about 2 years ago that this is who I was. It was handed to him. He wanted to make sure that it was very clear that the story accurately represented of who they thought and who Mr. Soros thought I was personally. He said, "Make sure you share it with Mr. Beck."
In case you're not familiar, Andy Griffith plays a drunk, a petty criminal who, with the help of radio reporter played by Marcia Neal, transforms himself into a famous national talk show host, a man of influence with the masses and politically powerful, but he is a very bad guy. Towards the end of the movie, the character, Larry Lonesome Rhodes, is revealed to be a fraud, a liar, and the movie ends with him all alone, screaming insanely from the balcony of his Manhattan high-rise. Marcia Neal's character is afraid he's going to jump. Mr. Soros, I'm not going to jump. I'm also not Lonesome Rhodes, but I appreciate your thinking of me. Let me say again what I've repeated on this program several times. All of this can go away tomorrow, but as long as I have breath, I will use that breath to speak about what I truly believe is the truth. As I have done several times on this broadcast and in that private public meeting with a partner of George Soros, Mr. Soros, you're welcome on this program to spend an hour with me. I'm sorry to hear that you repeatedly turn it down. We have a lot more information for you tomorrow and the next day. Make sure you tell your friends to join us. And all the information on tonight's broadcast is available at glennbeck.com and in my free email newsletter. Tomorrow, Soros and collapsing currencies internationally. What are his plans for the dollar? Don't miss it tomorrow. Good night, America.